Hey guys, my name is Nogan and welcome to my C++ series. Today we're going to be focusing on control structures in C++, especially sequential and also selection structures in C++. So today, as you can see, we have our basic C++ standard application format, how it looks. So in the main function today, we'll be focusing on speaking about sequential and also selection control structures. Now, these two are the ones, A and B are the part we're focusing on today. The sequential, how a C++ compiler is going to compile your source code line by line, which means each statement of line of code is going to be executed, each line of code in a sequence of like one step after another. And also selection now is where there is a condition taking place where the statement can be true or false, as you'll see in a moment. Okay, so in the main function, let's say for example in the main function we can declare a variable, say int test score, which means now we have test score. Now test score will be our first variable that we declare in the main function. So we're gonna check in the main function how we can have a condition using a one-way selection structure, where we can use that to test if the condition is true. If it's true, it's going to be a message being output to the command prompt. So let's initialize this variable to 60, and also have a message. Before let's information, let's include a condition. So we're going to use this if. If is a keyword in C++ been used to display statements with the condition. Now in the curly brackets, as you can see here, we have to have like a condition. The condition will be tested now by the compiler if it's true. If it's true, now in the body of this if statement, now the statements in here will be executed. Now here we'll declare a condition. We'll say now if test score is equal to 60. If it's equal to 60, if it's true, there will be a message saying passed. Subject. Okay, awesome. Okay, as you can see now, we're using this double quotation mark. This is now a relation operator that we're using here. It's an equal sign that you have to use eventually when you are trying to test this condition, because now the condition is to test if the test score is equal to 60, which means this variable has been declared here based on the first section of the sequence, which means the compiler will compile our program, each line of code, from the first line of code until the last line of code, to test if the conditions, if the syntax structure of the program is abide by the C++ rules, which means our condition also in line 19 will be checked based on this condition. This will be tested now with a variable declared in line 7, as you can see here. So what's going to happen now, eventually the compiler will compile our source code and check if test score is equal to 60. If it's equal to 60 now, then this one-way selection structure will be executed in the body of this if statement, and this message will be displayed to the command prompt, as you'll see in a moment. So let's compile our program. So click on Ctrl+Shift+B to compile your program to see is there any errors in your source code. Awesome, as you can see, succeeded. Now go to local window debugger and run your program so we can see the message display. Awesome, as you can see guys, we have a message saying pass the subject, which means the condition is true, and now the compiler compiled it and is being executed in the line of code. Awesome. Now let's have another condition here, because this is only a one-way selection structure. Let's make it a two-way, where the condition has to be tested now if it's true or if it's not true. Let's say for example here we're going to also include another condition. But now let's say for example we're going to ask the user to input a value, which means it's test score. So the user now, or the student, will enter his test score so we can see if she or he meets the criteria of this, which means if test score is less than or equal to, let's say for example the first will be 90. So the grade mark is going to be a distinction. Let's copy this. Now else if is where now we add another condition, else if test score is less than or equal to 80, and this is an AND operator we're using here, which means there are two conditions. If this condition is true and this is true also, then it's going to execute. If not, the next line of code will be executed. Test score greater than or equal to 90. B let's copy and paste this. Let's change this to D. Now else be a last condition. Awesome. So guys, you can see here we have a few conditions here. We have now the else if condition from here, from 80 marks to 90 marks, which means this will test the condition if the user inputs a value here. If the user inputs 60 here, the line of code will jump from here until here where the condition is true. If it's true in this two conditions here of the first condition, which is the test score, if it's less than or equal to 60 and operator is test score is greater than or equal to 70, then this mark allocation will display a message of D, and also going to be, which means that the student pass the module eventually. So let's run, go to lower window marker. Okay, let me say for example I'm going to say 75. You failed. Okay, Awesome. The reason why now it says fail because now my conditions are not on point. If you look at the first line of code, I said if test score is less than or equal to 90, which doesn't make sense because if test score, the first condition now, if it's less than 90, if I enter 75, 75 is less than or equal to 90, and this is going to be false, which means the condition that has been displayed here doesn't correspond with that, which means the condition is to say if test score is greater than or equal to 90, if this, then it'll be true. So guys, people can make mistakes sometimes and this is not a logical error, not a syntax error, logical error, which means the logic of the source code is not on point. This, as you can see, if we change all of these into the logic, which means the logic is now how you understand and what the code makes sense. Again, let's test it again now. Log into debugger so you can see if our logical error has been fixed. Awesome. So let's say 75% again is the mark C, which means he passed the module. And if you compare this with the condition being displayed here, it makes sense because now the student eventually is in this range from 75 to 80. So as you saw, guys, I made a mistake there, but it's a logical error. Sometimes when you're writing like programming, there could be logical errors, no syntax error. Your code could be on point, but now the logic behind why? Because now the program has to do some certain functionality, which means it has to do some certain task. If you're building a program or software, the design has to be on point because what you're building now has to meet the criteria. As you saw in a moment, I made a mistake where there's a logical error in the source code, not a syntax error. So let's run the program again and test it again. Okay, let's say for example I'm going to say the student got 89%. We got a B, which is like a pass eventually. Awesome. As you can see, guys, the program is running on point. So guys, as you see, first we use this one-way selection structure, which is this first if statement here, to check the condition that we have, which is to check the input value of the user that has input from this output statement here of enter your test score. So based on the input, the value that has been input will be compared with these conditions here. In these conditions has also an AND operator, which is like a relation operator, to compare the two values in a range of test score. Basically based on the inputs, if he inputs a value that is false in this range, this output statement will be displayed in output window eventually. So each if statement will be evaluated. If it's true based on the condition, there will be a message display outside. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, click on the bell notification, and visit the post on my channel.